Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Racekraft Simulations V8 Veterans Split 2 broadcast for Season 23, Round 10 out of Virginia International Raceway here this evening. I'm your commentator, Hamish Munro, joined as always by the great Brett Fisher alongside Brett. We're in for a fantastic final round of the season here this evening. We come into this round with 5 drivers capable of winning the Drivers' Championship here in Split 2. All 5 of them, though, locked in to Split 1 positions next season.
Let's go, Hamish. Oh, sorry. Start that again. Let's go, Hamish. We are on for a grand final cracker here tonight, are we not? Hope everyone's had a good start to their weekend, because we are in for a hell of a race tonight. We're going to see a Split 2 champion crowned at the end of it. So looking forward to this one.
Now, before we get into our track preview as normal, you know, we've obviously got some drivers to talk about tonight in terms of who are the contenders for this championship. And well, when we look at it, it is ultra close at this stage for Sean Vandermeul. And in P1, he leads the title race with 1,233 points, 8 points ahead of Matt Muggleton in P2 of Old Mate and Sons. Sean needs to finish P2 or better tonight to claim the championship. Muggleton needs to beat Sean by 3 positions to win the title. Ricky Hyde in P3 on 1212, a little bit further back there in third place, but still very, very capable. Same for Andrew Rushworth in fourth on 1207 points. And then June Caperonis, the outside pick, the outside edge for this championship. He's a fair way back on 1176 points, but still a mathematical chance to win this race, to win this championship. If all hell breaks loose tonight, Brett, then Jim could be the one to claim it. But it's going to take some extraordinary luck for that to happen for Jim here this evening.
It certainly is. And I'll tell you what, though, Jim, and we've talked about Jim before on this, I was nearly said podcast. It's not a podcast. It's a broadcast. But Jim, I think at the end of the day, no matter where he finishes tonight, I think he's had a fantastic season. He's really stepped up his game. He's put the challenge to all the drivers out there. And barring a few mistakes here and there, you know, he should have been higher up the ladder. But I hope he has a good race tonight. So it sort of just, you know, like that last shot on when you're playing on golf, you know, you hit that cracker ball and it's the one that brings you back for the next round, you know. And I think hopefully if Jim can have a good night tonight, I think he's probably out of touch to take the win, but you never know what's going to happen. But I think all in all, Jim Caperonis is going to he's going to go, I've had a cracking season, apart from a few mistakes, bits, pieces. Andrew Rushworth also, you know, like, hasn't he been coming on strong lately? Ricky Hyde, he's just snuck in there. You know, he's been the silent assassin throughout this season, and he's just put his nose onto the leaderboard, and what's going to happen?
Well, only time will tell. 200 Ks, 38 laps of VIR will give us the answer, but the points... Oh, that was not what I wanted to do. I completely ruined the whole thing for myself there, I'll be honest with you.
Reset again.
I've reset again, it's fine. But the points... locked away, frozen. Points are frozen now as we come into this round, and thank you. And we look ahead. I was pretty proud of myself when I made that. And we look ahead. We move on, and we look ahead to get a preview of this circuit. Not particularly one of my favourites, Brett. I will be completely honest. I'm not a huge fan of VIL myself, whether that's as a driver or as a viewer. But Split 2 has sometimes managed to be able to find us some diamonds in the rough. And whenever we've gone racing here at VIR, it has always been a spectacular race in Split 2, and I don't think it's going to be any different here tonight. As we trickle our way on down into the Virginian, field side, we'll say, because we are in a giant paddock for this circuit. Of course, it was opened back in 1957 throughout to 74. It was reopened back in the year 2000 as well. 5.2 kilometres long, 3.2 miles, 17 turns. It all starts on the main straight down towards the horseshoe at turn 1, where this is going to be the first test for these drivers. Very easily we could see lap 1, turn 1 incidents happening at this track, and then the same up at NASCAR Bend at 3, and then up at the left hook at 4. And then they've also got to be careful of 5 and 5A as well, Brett, where you can get quite sort of crisscrossed along with other drivers throughout that sort of section. That first sector is going to be a tough one for drivers. If they can make it through there nice and well, though, they can then run up through the snake at 6 and 6A, and then up towards 7, 8, 9, where the jump is, and hope to their life that they're able to hold on, they're able to keep it on the road before the fast run through 10.
I tell you, you mentioned not one of your favourite tracks. You know, VIR. It's an interesting track. It's got a few quirks to it. I actually don't mind it, and if you get it right, it's quite exciting. It's one of those tracks that's got a few points to it that you go, oh, good, I got that right, and got that one right, and got that one right. Next lap, let's try and do it again. But coming out of 4 and 5 are really important, and then 5A is the most important one to get that, power down and snake your way, pardon the pun, through 6 and 6A and get a good bit of speed up to 7 and 8 and 9.
Yeah, I think, if you can maximise that run through 7, 8, 9 and up through 10, you can set yourself up well for Oak Tree is at 11 and 12. Not quite a passing opportunity unless you're right behind the driver ahead of you. Probably not a passing opportunity in the Gen 3 car. It was in the Gen 2 car, though. But if you can maximise your run through 12, you can somewhat get a run up Madison Avenue towards the roller coaster at 13, 14, and 15. But this is a wild run down here. Drivers have got to be careful of money shifting at the end of the straight and not blowing the engine. They've got to be careful of not getting caught under brakes and ending up in the tyre barrier. Got to be careful of not running on the grass and ending up in the tyre barrier as well. It's a fast and wild ride down the roller coaster, one of which drivers are going to have to be cautious of. If you can make it through there, though, it's a very tough switchback for 16 and 17, but then the run through Hogpen for 17A, you finish out the lap and you start all over again. It's a fast-paced, longer circuit. We're running up and around about the 148s on average in session at the moment, so drivers are going to have to be cautious. I feel we're going to go green the whole way, though, because we are in a giant paddock and the fences are a far way few. The only ways I can really see us getting a safety car is if someone gets heavy enough damage through 5A, and 6, or if they blow the engine down the straight at Madison Avenue and in towards the roller coaster. Other than that, I can't really see an opportunity for it, Brett. And the one thing I feel now, I know there are some grandstands here, but I feel the ambience of VIR is one that doesn't really sit very, very heavy, we'll say. I think it could possibly be a little bit better. And I think it's as simple as the track organisers getting some grandstands out there. Get some grandstands out there just outside the fence line to really bring the ambience of it being a racetrack. And I think that's what really misses.
It's got a bit of the Winton-esque sort of feel, doesn't
it?
With the lack of grandstands and things like that.
I think it's a bit too long, though, in comparison to Winton. Winton's nice and short, and I think you finish the lap fast enough, you don't feel like you're in the middle of nowhere, where this place here, I don't know, it just feels like you feel like you're just on someone's farm racing on a racetrack.
Well, it's not a bad farm.
Yeah. That's true.
I just wanted to go back a second to Oak Tree. I heard John Van Ree talking about it too, and it's a shame the old Oak Tree is gone. And maybe, obviously it's real world, but even though, wouldn't it have been nice to actually just have a bit of the Oak Tree sort of still there in some sort of form?
Just put a stump. Just have a stump there.
Something there. Yeah. Well, yeah, and then just maybe a couple of little branches, coming out and whatever. But same again, I just wanted to talk about that corner for a second too. So coming out of Oak Tree, you've got to make sure it's a long straight, get it out there cleanly, and then come down to this section of the track here. What a cracking section of track, like balancing the car, tiptoeing it through these corners onto the front straight. As I said before, there's probably about 3 sections of this track. I mean, obviously all corners, but there's about 3 sections of this track is just very finite in the detail, and you don't have to make much of a mistake to get it wrong, and someone behind you is going to take advantage.
Yeah, they will. I mean, it's very, very easy to make a mistake here. As soon as you hit the grass, it is like ice. I mean, there's no chance of pulling it back if you're on a run into the grass, and it's so tough to get the car back onto the tarmac. If it was raining, it'd be nigh impossible to get it back onto the tarmac. So we're lucky that we have a dry race this evening. Now, just to do a little bit of housekeeping, of course, season 24 coming up next season. A couple of weeks' time, we'll be back for round 1, which has been announced on the draft calendar to be Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps. Now, the reason that I bring this up...
What was that?
Francorchamps? Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps. That's how you pronounce the track name.
Sorry. Sorry, I shouldn't laugh at that. But you go. Sorry. Didn't interrupt.
No worries. But the reason I bring this up is the draft calendar has been announced. Now, I didn't look into it in full detail, but I might do it in just a second after I respond to this message to Hoffy. But obviously, Tail and Bend is getting released next season, Brett.
So it has been confirmed, has it?
It's been confirmed. Yeah. It's the only brand new circuit that's coming onto the service.
Yeah, right.
And
cool. That's very good. I'm looking forward to that.
And if we look at the draft calendar, which for everyone who can't look at it is Spa, Road Atlanta, Long Beach, Portland, Road America, Hockenheim, Jerez, Navarra, Bassano, and Okayama. Which of those tracks would you replace with Tail and Bend? Because I think for me, probably Road America or Okayama, personally. That's just me. I don't know about you, Brett, but they're the only two that don't really excite me in that list.
I don't necessarily have a, look, to me, throw up what we're going to race, and I'll race it. Like, it doesn't really worry me. I mean, yeah, I just, from week to week, I don't sort of look at the season as a whole going, oh, I'm going to be shit at this track, I'm going to be good at this track, blah, blah, blah. I just go, okay, and I just run my normal prep, which I go, okay, so Thursday night, that's your race night. So maybe Friday night, maybe Saturday night, you might have a little bit of luck to get on the track and just put laps down, find out where your time's at, and then figure out what times you need to sort of get to. But I don't necessarily, look at tracks in detail. Whether that be a good thing or a bad thing, I don't know. But I'll be excited. Doesn't matter what they take out. I'll be excited to see the bend there.
I will too, and I am hopeful that we do get it put into the calendar for next season. I do agree that Spa maybe considered a little bit boring, but it'd be a bit harder to change Spa because it's one of the first tracks on the officials. But
yeah.
I think we can we can get some good strategy racing at Spa, because you're often going to get safety cars where strategy is going to be a big part to play as well. It's that is where the beauty of Spa comes into it, is the strategy. I love Long Beach. I'll never want to get rid of Long Beach if it's on a calendar. Absolutely love it. I love the chaos that it brings, and again, the strategy of how you approach that race is at a maximum for me. We haven't seen tracks like Portland or Misano before, and I'm really excited to see them in Vets. I'm really excited to see them in the supercars, because both tracks offer up a completely different style of racing. Road America, we've seen quite a lot. I know a lot of drivers enjoy it. I'm not particularly a big fan of the circuit myself, but I know it has got its fans out there. I love the Hockenheimring. I think it offers great racing as well. Again, another strategy-heavy circuit. We've seen Jerez a lot of times. Majority of the time, it's either been a season opener or a season ender. So it's good to see it in the mid part of the season as well. I mentioned Navarra. We either haven't seen Navarra just yet, or we haven't seen it for a couple of seasons now. So it'd be good to see that back. And then obviously Okayama, which it's all right, but I don't know, the bend, the bend would be fantastic.
Yeah, it'd be great to see if they can get that into the series, into Series 24. It'd be fantastic. And I must say, congratulations, Hamish.
Thank you, Brett.
On your 100th, and it is correct, isn't it? Your 100th broadcast?
My 100th Vets broadcast specifically.
Vets broadcast, so congratulations.
Thank you. I think I might be wrong. I stopped tracking overall a while ago. I need to go double check. I think I've now ticked over just over 400 broadcasts. So.
Oh, in total?
Yeah. Yep. I'm pretty proud of
nice.
that fact as well. So.
Oh, very good.
Yeah.
No, very good.
Been a great 2 years. I look forward to many more years with Vets, as long as they'll still have me. This young larrikin as he gets older. And who knows, maybe in 13 years' time when I'm 40, I'll come racing in Vets as well. It'd be a completely different field of Vets, of course. There'd probably be 7-10 splits of Vets by that point, but still.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. But still, though, by that point, who knows what'll happen.
Who knows, mate? Who knows?
That's right. Thanks, Lil.
Well, it's great to have you on board, Hamish. And I know this has been my first season, and I've enjoyed it very, very much. It's been something that I've enjoyed doing in the past, and I hope everyone enjoys what I do as well. And let's ramp it up for next season.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it for next season, for season 24. It's going to be incredible. It's my 10th season of the Vets, and couldn't ask for a better way to go into it. I think it's the field's only getting stronger. Drivers are only getting more comfortable in these cars as well, and I'm excited. I'm excited for what can come for Split 2, whether we get demotions from Split 1 or not, the promotions that will be coming up from Split 3. Mark Houghton's been waiting for a long time to get back to Split 2, same for Ray Smith. Scott McKenzie will be a challenger as well, and others too who'll be coming up as well. So I'm really looking forward to next season, but we have to finish out this season first, of course. For our final round, we've got 200 Ks of racing to come our way VIR tonight. This man, Sean Vandermeulen, leads the championship by 8 points. Realistically speaking, he's got a bit of pressure on himself, Brett, because if Muggleton wins, he needs a podium. But in saying that, he's looking fast. He's looking very fast. He's put the car, I believe, on pole. So he's done everything right thus far. He pretty much just has to survive the first little onslaught of the first stint. And if he can do that and we go green the whole way, it should be a fairly easy race for him as the warm-up comes to an end. But the important thing is surviving those, that first, 10 to 12 laps.
Wow. I wouldn't have said that, but anyway.
Well,
comment. It's good.
That's what they call foreshadowing, Brett. We love to foreshadow things.
Don't swear at me.
So as we roll into round 10 of season 23, let's have a look at the starting grid here tonight. Sean Vandermill, the championship leader, will start on pole position alongside Damon Fisher on the front row, Matt Muggleton, Chris Blanchard then in P3 and P4. Muggleton has some work to do if he hopes to get past Vandermill, but that fight's going to be on from the very start. Shane Randall starts inside of the top 5 alongside Ricky Hyde in P6, so another championship contender up there with Paul Burns, Mick Clifton for your top 8. Jim Caparonis will start in the top 10 with Halil Caesar starting out of P10 on the road. Tim Mulford and Andrew Rushworth will then make up the top 12. All 5 of our championship contenders on the first page of the grid, and they're separated by 12 positions apiece. Brett Fisher, Andrew Hoffman then for your 7th row with Adrian Zeal and Rick Viger for the top 16. Matt Monday, Matt Stoyles will make an all-Matt 9th row of the grid ahead of Michael Quain and Matt McMillan for P20 with Brett O'Brien, Jeremy Bush, Scott Weston and Brett Taylor for your top 24 cars as Sean Cullen and Peter Baxter line up alongside each other with Richard Barella, the last car to set a time in qualifying. Mikey Harlan not taking part tonight after surgery. He's in there spotting for the SCR boys. Chad Viger is racing, as is Alistair Bales as well, and Todd Duggan a bit further back too. But
wonder whether Mikey's still trying to sell off those rims. More rims.
I don't know if he'd be able to get them into the US due to the tariffs, though. That's the problem. So he'd have to have sold them down in Brazil. I know the black market's pretty huge down there, so I'm sure he didn't have any troubles offloading those wheels.
And who wants to carry them through baggage?
Yeah, I mean, that's a real hefty cost to get the extra luggage space for 4 dry supercars tires. So, it's.
Did he have surgery after Hoffy had a chat to him?
No, I reckon he pulled something in his arm trying to carry those wheels back to his pit box.
Yeah, bro. Pulled a heartstring.
Quite possibly. Quite possibly.
Yeah, unbelievable. Well, tonight, let's get the build-up happening because this is going to be a cracker. This is grand final night. Hope you've all got your favourite beverages. Hope you got your comfy pants on. Hope you're in your favourite seat and watching your favourite split. We're about to get underway here at Split 2 for our final time in Season 23.
It's a tough test for these drivers at VIR. It's not an easy circuit to go racing for the final time this season. 5 drivers in the championship fight, separated by 57 points for the top 5. It is anyone's game in this race. There are your outside edge picks. There's the almost, too easy to pick them that it might be a trap. But for the lights to go up for these drivers and for the res to rise for the final time in Season 23, it's Vandermill and Fisher on the front row. Muggleton and Blanchard for the top 4. Season 23, round 10 is underway as we run down towards turn 1 for the first time tonight. Vandermill leads us through. The scramble at the beginning of this race has begun nice and early for these drivers as they jostle for position. Blanchard already up 1 on Fisher. Randall wants to put the pressure on him now as well, as does Hyde and Burns. But they know that it's a long race and they can take their time with this just to settle in and get into those rhythms that they need to.
Nice clean start for everybody there, and I believe Damon was panicked. He didn't particularly want to be up that far because he didn't want to impede on anyone in the championship. So I think that's why he's let those 3 guys go at the start, just to sort of clear them out, let them have a fair run at it.
As they run up the hill and over the jump and up towards turn 10, Muggleton putting the pressure early here on Vandermill, and he's just got to keep the head cool tonight to Sean. Make Matt do all the work. Remembering that Matt has to beat Sean on the road to win the title. It was a massive close under brakes, and he's hot on his heels. He is right there. Blanchard showing some good pace too. Fisher's still up there. Hyde's already offloaded Randall. So he looks now to chase down his championship compatriots in Muggleton and Vandermeulen at the front of the field as well. But he needs to hope that both those guys tangle and they drop towards the back end of the top 10, because that's what he needs. He needs roughly 9 positions over Vandermeulen and about 5 positions over Muggleton if he hopes to win this title. But it's a long race. Anything can happen. It's been a long season, Brett, and now we're at the crescendo of it.
We certainly are, and so far nice to see everyone getting away through cleanly so far in this race. 38 laps here, and they come down the straight this time. He's really got good closing rate here on the front straight. 0.1 of a second point, so he's going to have a look on the inside.
Late lunge.
And he gets through.
And of course Vandermeulen going to let him go because he knows P2 is good enough, but he needs to make sure that Muggleton A doesn't get the bonus points for a 0x race, because it's a big chunk of points you get. It's 5 points for a 5x race. He needs to hope that Muggleton gets a 1x somewhere and try and limit the bonus points by maybe not letting him, lead the most laps. Not much you can do about leading a lap. He's already getting a point for that, and not much you can do about fastest lap apart from just driving faster than him.
Yeah, and Vandermeulen has absolutely just gobbled all those bonus points up this season. Absolutely phenomenal effort with the bonus points he's been able to establish throughout the Series 23.
So, of course, new colours coming onto his car for next season. Already given us a preview. It's the only time you'll see it in Split 2, because next season this car will be on the Split 1 grid. Up with his teammates of 9.5 SimSports, including his new teammate, Dean Logsdale, who finished in the top 5 of Split 1 this season for Team AJR as well. Matt Muggleton will join that crew next season as well for his final time tonight for the Old Mate and Sons. A couple of movements happening, of course. Mikey Harlan not on track tonight, but next season he will line up in SCR colours for the first time. And I believe there's a couple
of the tree on the left-hand side, though. Like, there's challenges all the way up and down that list. So there's something happening on track absolutely everywhere. So no one's really pulled any great distance out. I think the biggest gap there so far is probably Rick Viger, 1.2. Other than that, the rest of the field is within a second, so that's huge effort. Huge effort.
A massive effort. Another big mover as well this season. One of the other championship contenders, Andrew Rushworth, will head over to Accelerate Sim Racing next season and line up for them in Split 1 as well. As
Muggleton just taking the fastest lap.
Yep. 149.23, so if that holds, that's the extra point for Muggleton. But Vandermeulen, he may just be in cruise control at the moment, is Vandermeulen.
Yeah, look, there's no panic, unforced errors, you don't want that to happen. Maybe he's just, more comfortable just sitting behind a car and just cruising around, or, who knows, like if we get a chance, we'll have to ask him, is he more comfortable in front, or is he happy just to sit behind a car and just chase them? We'll see how this plays. We'll see how this plays out.
Oh, Matt
we've got
Monday
a car
around at turn 5. That front right wheel looks a bit wiggly for my liking, so he'll have to nurse the fishy car back to pit lane. Get the
Monday
thing fixed
not having
up.
a good Thursday.
No, not a good Thursday for Monday. Wrong day of the week for him. Muggleton leads the way. Vandermeulen hot on the heels of him as well.
Yeah, Blanchard and Hyde are right there too in the pocket. So, and everyone doing quite well, except for Monday there, obviously having a bit of a mishap there. But same again, everyone's still within a reasonable contact. So some great racing going all the way up and down this field so far. As we sit on board with Hyde.
Sit with
great section of track through here if you get it right too. It's very rewarding when you do get the flow of the track right.
Yeah, it's this circuit. Like a lot of others, when we mentioned Winton earlier, it's very similar in the case of it's very rhythmic. If you can get into your rhythm here and you can find that, get in tune with the circuit, you will find lap time. But a small mistake can ruin that rhythm straight away. It's amazing.
It doesn't take much.
And it's
slight lock of the brakes.
Lock of the brakes. Little too early on the throttle, get a bit of a wiggle. Just something that can break the mind, can break that rhythm so easily. It's like a rock on glass. It just shatters before your eyes. And and I think the big problem is that you then don't get caught up in then falling down the sinkhole that can then create. It's getting back into the rhythm and finding that rhythm again. Because very, very quickly, like a domino effect, it was very sideways. Like a domino effect, it can just break away from you eventually. All of a sudden, weeds, just like Peter Baxter spun round there as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, look, a little bit of a little bit of sideways action, heating up the back tyres. You know, like, and if you don't watch it, you're going to heat those tyres up, and you won't bring them back fast enough, and you can put yourself in a bit of detriment for that. So you've got to make sure if you do have a little bit of sideways, heat the tyres up front or rear. Give me a chance to come back down and then get back into it again.
Says they're trying to chase down.
Says on the back at Clifton.
Yep. They've got Jim Caperonis just up ahead of him as well. On the other end of this sandwich is Andrew Rushworth, who we mentioned is still yet to make it back inside of the top 10. He started P12. He's got some work to do tonight, but the one who has the most work is Mr. Caperonis, which more or less it is get to the front and then hope the other cars fall to the back. That's what Jim has to do at this point. I mean, it's a tough task to ask, Sean Vandermeulen to end up back in P30. Running as good as he is at the moment, and for him to stay there for the whole race. Same for Muggleton, same for Hyde.
In the race, though.
Oh, that's right.
You never know what happens, though, do you? Like that's a hard thing. See him cross the line for another time. Lap 5, 38.
Blanchard! Vandermeulen's gone round. There's been contact with Blanchard at turn 1. Vandermeulen off the road, the hot favourite for the championship. Off the road at lap 5, looks to rejoin. Oh, there's a bit of contact there.
He's made.
I think that was with Zippy. That was with Zippy.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately for Sean, it may be looked at as an unsafe rejoin. And if it's a drive-through or a points penalty, well, he'd almost be hoping for a drive-through, because a points penalty makes the maths almost impossible to do midway through a race. So, at this stage, though, with him back in P18, it makes Matt Muggleton the race leader, the champion-elect. But with 34 laps to go, roughly, or 33 and a half laps to go, it's anyone's game. But if something like that can happen to Vandermeulen to no fault of his own, what could happen to Muggleton or Hyde up the front of the field?
My heart breaks for Vandermeulen. Just seeing that, and you can see him trying to get back on the, obviously wanting to get back on track as quickly as possible, and just get his nose out into the other cars. So that will hurt him big time, unfortunately.
Yeah, and I think we can expect most likely a drive-through penalty for Chris Blanchard as well. Just getting caught out under brakes, drilling the back of Vandermeulen. Chris doesn't normally drive like that, so it's a bit out of character for him. Hopefully it doesn't become a more regular thing tonight as well. But yeah.
Easy, Hamish, easy to do, though.
It is.
In that section of the track, you are on maximum braking.
You are.
And he was on the inside line then, so, yeah, and he might have missed his brake mark by a 15th, or can you say that? Probably not. Sorry.
I give you permission to say.
Sorry?
I give you permission to say that.
Oh, thank you. Missed his braking mark by a fraction and just got the car out of sorts, and it's easy to do because you're on so much maximum braking. And like when the guys, Shadow Racers and I were practicing this week, we're all different on our brake bias. I was up to 65.2 on the brake bias, and I just found it comfortable, where other guys were pushing it back, and it just goes to show you that everyone's got their different styles, different braking techniques and things like that. And yeah, unfortunately, it's caught Vandermeulen out.
It has indeed, but luckily for him, there's still 33 laps left in this race, so plenty of time for him to fight his way back up to the front of the field. But battling guys like, Brett Taylor or Brett O'Brien, they're not going to necessarily make it easy for him. He would hope they would, knowing that he's in a chance for a championship. But I don't know if they exactly will make it easy for him at that point.
Races are going to race, though, aren't they?
Right.
It's... if you're a teammate, well, probably a different story. You're going to know all the bells and whistles, all the ins and outs and all sorts of stuff, and you're going to go, hey, mate, I'm just going to let you by. But mate, you're in line. You've got to make moves to get past. So yeah, I don't see anything wrong with that.
I think my mindset is, I'll give you the example of Shane up in P4. So Shane's in this position, and he's around guys who are in the championship fight. So Jim, Ricky, Matt, was Sean as well. And the thought process is you battle, because you're battling for a top 5. If he was back in, maybe 15th or below or 12th or below, he'd probably just let him go, because he's not going to gain or lose too much because of that. But because he's so far up, he could give out an opportunity to get a podium or maybe even a race win if it goes his way, as Hyde goes up the inside of Muggleton at turn 1. So it's very subjective, of course, as a driver or as a team owner. Our mindset is if we're not in the fight for that battle, and we're outside of the opportunity for a podium, then just let them have it and just follow them along. But if they're battling us for P4, well, get the elbows out and have a crack. It's just
for sure, yeah. But you got to also think too, back further in the pack, if these guys aren't fighting for a top end in their championship or anything like that, they're just racing.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Like that's just going to be, they're just going to go, oh, I'm racing. I want to try and get as many points as I can. Love this section of the track though too. Just having same again in that car, like we talked about before, just balancing, left and right. Like it's a great section of track, and then to come around this corner or the last corner, just going back there. It's a blind turn, so you turn in and you can't see where you're heading. It's a great section of track.
Yeah, it is. It's. I think this circuit has got. It's definitely got its little gems. The run up from 6 towards turn 10, a very very good section. Almost similar, but a bit tighter, then more swingy than the S's at Suzuka, but very similar in the fact of how the transition happens at the S's in the first sector of Suzuka. But
and by all means, I can see why people don't like the track as well.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? It's just some you got some are going to like it, some are not, and that's the way every track's going to be, isn't it?
No, that's right, exactly right. We have got some battles happening further back in the field. Matt McMillan returns to the field tonight, battling away with Matt Stoyles. As yourself, Brett, is running slow down the straight.
Yep, that might be a blown motor.
Did you not listen to the advice of not money shifting down the straight?
Well, it's a bit too late, Hamish.
Well,
this was on Thursday.
Well,
this is Saturday night.
You should be able. You should be able to look into the future. I feel like you need to come into next season, Brett, with a new mindset of what would Hamish say on the broadcast and not to do. Right, I'm not going to do that.
Well, I just gave myself an uppercut for bloody double shifting. Well, I didn't double shift. I just shifted too quick. And blew my motor. So that was but I managed to roll it into pits. And got a fast repair, and I think it was about a 3-minute lap, so I was about a minute off pace for that lap. But anyway, we move on. There's other battles happening on track. We're still watching Rick Hyde with Weston chasing him down, 0.2 of a second behind him. We're on lap 8 of 38.
Yep. And we're battling our way through. Roughly the tank size should get these drivers to between lap 10 and lap 12. Depending on the fuel save and the fuel usage, I believe the average of the field should get in at roughly 11 laps, but there will be some drivers who will save maximum fuel to get to lap 12 if they can. Weston is hot on the heels of VIR. It's not much of a save needed to get to lap 12. In fact, you can roughly you roughly need the 4.2 litres, I think it is, to do a lap. So it's only it's less than a full litre to save. So it can definitely be done if you're willing and if you're capable as well. Weston putting this pressure on VIR right now. Weston, one of the top 2 drivers for positions gained tonight. He's up 11 positions, only beaten by one other driver in the field, and that's Todd Duggan into the top 20, up 15 positions at the moment for Nova Sim Sports. And knowing how long Todd has been in the league for and how long he's been around Split 2, you almost hope and wish that season 24 can be a better season for Todd Duggan, because he has been out of it for quite a few seasons now. And you just want to see him get back to winning ways. It's a very similar feeling to Mark Houghton when he went back to Split 3. Look at the season that he's just had, and he now comes back to Split 2 next season. Most likely a reinvigorated man and ready to challenge for top 10s once again. So, maybe eventually it'll mean that Todd goes down to Split 3 and he has that sort of season, or maybe he can get a little bit more pot luck here in Split 2 and start challenging for those top 15s or top 10s more often again.
Is that a new livery for Dougie?
It's no. They've had this layout all season because they lost Pro Plumbing Supplies when Van der Meulen went to 9.5 this season. But I think he's changed up the colourway a little bit of this particular paint over the last few weeks.
It's a nice looking car.
Yeah, it is.
It's a nice looking car.
I am liking it.
Well done.
Looks the goods.
Yeah.
And I'm excited for what next season's liveries have to bring for teams as well. I noticed that somebody saw your post about having a blanket on the car and took it to another level and making a video of it.
I know. How good was that?
I know. It looked phenomenal.
I wasn't quite ready to release the paints just yet. But no, that was quite good. I enjoyed that. I thought, wow, how good's this? You know, the old rip off of the cover. That's fantastic. You know, it's great. It's good to see. I like it. I like the build up of the paint releases too. It's quite good seeing what everyone's going to be racing next season.
As a painter myself, I'm always excited to see what teams can bring to the table and how they're going to change up how they look.
Yep.
You know, I'm a big believer that you should probably give your livery 2 seasons at the very, very least. I'm not a.
Oh, no,
I'm
not
not
a shadow racing.
No, I know.
Not a shadow racing.
I know. I'm not a massive fan of changing it every single season because then it means I have to take time to change it in between seasons. But it also means that.
Sorry, we just see people in pit lane. Sorry, go ahead.
Rushworth, and Hoffman all in pit lane. But I'm also under belief, though, that you keep a very similar livery design for 2 seasons in a row, and it means people who are watching can often then be able to recognise your car better on track. That's my belief system behind that.
Well, you know, and our team is actually getting bigger and bigger, so the more paints that I have to produce too is it gets quite stressful, actually. You know, like, oh, what are we going to do this season? Blah, blah, blah. So anyway.
So Stacey Boyd saying there are only 72 versions of the Nova paints. His parting gift. So I'm going to assume, Stacey, that means that you're leaving Nova for next season. Can I rightly assume you might be going to 9.5 Sim Sports next season? Or if not, you can tell us where you are going. Because we love to hear about driver moves. We love to find out where drivers are going. As a team who's gaining a new driver next season, I like to put a bit of showmanship on it, and I'm waiting for our livery reveal to reveal which driver it is, because it will give it away when you see the livery. So you know, I always love to see, you know, different liveries or different ways of revealing drivers, or how those drivers change teams, or even the choices that they make for switching teams as well. And it only clicked in my head, Brett, yesterday, because it was for quite a few seasons both the Cullens were not in the same team, and it only clicked in my head literally yesterday that they are now in the same team.
Both in the same. Yeah.
Didn't even click in my head.
As we see Muggleton and
Muggleton,
Burns and Cesar in pits. Yeah.
So
there you go. Yeah. So we've got 2 Cullens, not related. Vandy Millen in pits lane.
He is indeed. Vandy Millen's in, McMillan's in as well. Where's Blanchard? He's at the back of the field. He's actually done... Has he actually done pit stop? No, he's done it. He's had a drive-through. So Blanchard has committed to a drive-through for that moment with Sean Vandy Millen at the start of the lap 5 of the race. So Ricky Hyde, our race leader, 4.5 seconds back is Shane Randall in P2. Damon Fisher, Jim Caparonis, Rick Feiger, the top 5. Brenton O'Brien, P6. Watch the Strategy Master go at it again tonight with Brett Taylor, Matt Stoyle, Sean Cullen, Jeremy Bush for your top 10. Just to take the onus or the focus off the top 5 battle in the championship, there's also still a battle happening for P6 in the championship as well. Shane Randall, Hallel, Cesar separated by 1 point at the moment in that battle for 6. Brenton O'Brien 3 points back off of that battle too. So we'll have to keep how that plays out tonight. Whichever driver beats the other 2 very likely will win that battle. So we'll see how that pans out. And then there's also the running and the battle for Brett Fisher to get a top 15 in the championship, which after blowing your motor and using your fast repair...
Well, not looking good.
It's looking a bit outside edge at the moment, Brett, I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, it did my head in. A few choice words when that happened. Like, what? Anyway, I just got it done, got it repaired, and got back out there, head down, bum up, and away you go. And let's just see what happens. You know, plenty of laps to unfold here. So, great little battle here. Great little battle here with O'Brien, Taylor, and Stoyles.
Going again.
And Rick's coming in.
Yeah, so Ricky's in, Shane's in.
Ran. Yeah.
Fisher, Caparonis, is Viger coming in, or is he going to go another lap? I would assume Brenton's saved fuel. They've all saved fuel enough to do an extra lap. So all these drivers have saved the fuel to do the extra lap. Sean Cullen has been off the road, but he's kept it going once again. So a minor off track for him as he brings it into pit lane in behind Matt Monday.
Sean's got himself up there okay too. I mean, obviously there's a few people have pitted and things like that, but good to see Sean having a reasonable race so far.
So Caparonis now leads the way. Would he get an extra point for leading the lap? I think he does, because he'd end the lap as the race leader, because Muggleton, Burns, and actually Burns is underfield here. This is a good example of team strategy here, Brett. So Paul Burns is not in this championship battle. He's not even really in for the battle for the top 6. So what's he done? He's underfueled the car comparatively to Muggleton and Hyde to get his car ahead of Muggleton. To not only hold him up and get Hyde onto the back of him, but also take away the opportunities for Muggleton to lead the most laps of this race. This is some brilliant race strategy on how you can limit the bonus point gains, but the issue is they still need Muggleton outside of the top 5 for Ricky Hyde to win the championship, and he'd have to win the race for that to happen as well.
I'll tell you what, that's way too much thinking for my little brain around there. All I'd be thinking of is turn left, turn right, shift up, shift down, brake, accelerate, and that's probably about all I can think of. And I'm lucky to get into pit stops done when I do. But yeah, I mean, obviously there's all that sort of stuff that goes on. Whether you're only a driver or you've got someone in your ear helping you, that's a very big bonus. Caparonis and Damon into to pits. Yeah, you know, I myself, as a, you know, I struggle to sort of do all those calculations in my head and, you know, lots of stuff. So my focus is we just see a lot more people coming in pit lane this time. So Rick Vigor, O'Brien, Taylor and Stoyles in pits.
So this will now make just Paul Burns the race leader when he traverses past pit lane. So you know, this is now becoming team strategy 101 here. Brett, and realistically Paul needs to try and balk Muggleton up to force him back, not just to his teammate Ricky Hyde, but they also need to figure out a way to somehow balk him back quite a few seconds to Tim Mulford or to Jim Caparonis, who's about to exit pit lane, because they need to try and get him outside of the top 5. It's not going to happen if Paul's just going to cut laps, take away fastest or take away lead laps from Matt. He has to push him back into the clutches of not just Ricky, but 5 seconds back Jim Caparonis, and then another 0.8 second back to Tim Mulford, and then even back to Shane Randall as well, just to solidify it for themselves. So there's still work to be done, but it doesn't look like the trajectory is that Burns is doing so, as I think Vandermeulen and Andrew Hoffman have had some contact at turn 1. And I really hope it is not an incident. I mean, even though it's an incident involving Vandermeulen, I hope it's not one that's his fault, because it'd be such a shame, such a shame. I mean, the heart, not
going from worst to worst.
No, that's right.
Bad to worst. Yeah.
And the heart has to break for how this has worked out now for Sean. It's a very similar feeling that we had for Jim Caparonis 2 rounds in a row at Barber. Earlier in the season.
Some races aren't just your race, you know, like sometimes it just happens and you've got to, and it's just a matter of minimising those mistakes or minimising the things that are going to drag you back into a race. But hopefully that doesn't, hopefully you can push forward. I was just looking, was talking about Jim Caparonis before too, you know, and obviously we're still going to see pit strat sort of work its way out. It's great to see Jim up in 4th position at the moment. So, you know, like he's pushed himself back up the top there. So good on him.
He has good strategy as well from him. Of course, he's got Mikey Harlan, one of his new co-team bosses and drivers for next season in SCR. So he'll be helping coaching him along up the front of the field there. We're just on board with Andrew Hoffman at the moment. We mentioned last week the loss of Dane Palmer. We just wanted to show this out because Andrew was running with a photo of Dane on the bonnet of the car. So we just wanted to show that off, knowing that that Dane's friends over in the UK, over in Ukraine, were watching tonight as well. So just wanted to show that off for everyone and for Hoffy too.
Condolence, Spence. Our heart go out to you guys.
It does indeed. It does. So we are 14 laps into this race. 13 laps into this race. We've got 24 laps to go. Paul Burns leads the way at the moment. No safety cars just yet. And the vibe of the race...
looking racy
He's looking racy. I don't think he wants to get past him, though. I think he's happy just to sit there, save a bit of fuel and put the pressure on him.
Yeah, I don't know. The attitude of that car coming through that section of the track there would have say otherwise to me. I would have thought that he's really chasing hard. But we'll see as this goes on. So he's only within half a second of Burns.
He's right there on him.
everybody. We've sort of, the field's starting to spread out a bit, obviously,
is.
after those pit stops and things like that. So Damon's on the back of Rushworth at the moment. Then we've got Stoyles on the back of myself and Monday on the back of Cullen at the moment. So they're the closest challengers on the track at this stage.
On board with Rushworth inside of the top 10. What a season he has been having. One of the big improvers of this season, Andrew Rushworth, came in from Split 3 after getting the promotion up. He's done very, very well this season.
And considering before this race started that he was in position 4 on the championship standings, you know, sensational effort. He's got to be pretty
very,
excited with
very
his,
good effort.
season.
And actually, ironically, he has Damon Fisher behind him. It mirrors the efforts of Dean Logsdale and Luke Ullman in the last 2 seasons of a driver who hasn't previously really been up and around the front of the field, but has all of a sudden made some great gains and has gotten better and better. I mean, the proof's in the pudding for Logsdale. I mean, he went from running around the mid pack to being a challenger in the championship to then finishing top 5 in Split 1 this season in his last season for Team AJR before moving to 9.5 Sim Sports. So, you know, Rushy's obviously going to a new team in Accelerate Sim Racing with a couple of faster drivers in that team that might possibly be on offer at Apex. And right now he's following his new teammate for next season, Mick Clifton, as well. And even though they're not teammates right now, do we maybe see Mick?
Something.
Yeah, Mick might still give him a hand here tonight because you know they're going to be teammates next season. Yes, they're going to be in different splits, but your teammate's your teammate.
They could start off on very bad terms.
They could, and Andrew could either take out Mick or Mick could take out Andrew. And just
that would not be good.
It would not be.
To see the debrief in that.
No, I wouldn't either. I wouldn't either.
We were just talking about Dane before, and look, he's my brother and lots of stuff, and I don't want to talk too much about him, but like my heart goes out to him because he's been showing some fantastic speed. He's qualified well a couple of times. He's you know, just sort of like the car has been going well. And lots of stuff. His internet has really plagued him. I'd love to see him have a really good season and put his best foots forward. And I know I did say foots because he's just been struggling. And I think he's, you know, if he could sort of just gather himself up and actually have some good races, he'll build a bit of confidence. And, you know, I mean, put it on P2 in this race. So he's obviously got something going on. I just really would love to see him actually complete a decent season, as you see Vandermeer in pit lane.
Yeah, and I think this may be
this a drive-through
penalty for the contact with Andrew Hoffman because he's traversing through the lane. We are past critical lap, but a bit early for him to come in now if he hopes to get back into this race. He drives it through pit lane, takes it back out again, and now pushes on at the back of the field. And realistically, he's going to have to hope for a safety car. He may pit early in the hopes that a safety car is going to happen. But, I mean, the feel of this race, Brett, with everyone spread out like this, I think we've gone from maybe a 5% chance of a safety car down to about a 0.1% chance of a safety car. It's so open of a track and drivers are so far apart. Unless we get a blown engine down the straight and they're on the track, or we get someone crashing at the end of the straight into the tyre barrier where they need the tow and they've, you know, the car's landed back on the circuit. I don't particularly see the safety car getting called. It's just it's the state of the circuit. It's what happens at this place, and it's how the racing sort of happens as well. Now, if we were in open wheelers, for example, like Super Formula Lights or Super Formulas, well, those cars disintegrate into nothing, so they make contact and they're like paper mache. But
that's it.
Big beefy supercar, it's, you know, you bang some doors, you're fine. So it's
that's it. You have to have a catastrophic hit to really make some damage. I also just want to see in the chat, Hoffy just mentioned Sean came straight down and apologised, and like a true gentleman he is, and you know that's fantastic to see the vets, you know, doing that sort of stuff. You know, obviously. Didn't want to do that, didn't want it to happen, and apologise straight up. You know, and it's great to see that sportsmanship in the V8 vets. You know, and it's part of what I enjoy about racing with the vets is that, you know, we look after each other. You know, we might be on all different teams and things like that, but we try and do our best. We try and race cleanly. Sometimes things happen, and great to see.
different teams, one banner. You know, it's
correct.
everyone may represent their teams accordingly, but everyone is also a veteran. Everyone is a V8 Vets driver in that sense. At the moment, Mick Clifton, Andrew Rushworth trying to chase down Halil Cesar and Shane Randall. I mention this because obviously Shane leads Cesar for P6 in the championship by 1 point at the moment. He would be gaining 2 points at this stage over Halil for this position. If Halil were to get past him, well, then he'd beat Shane by 1 point. So that's how close that one is at the moment. We'll have to see how this pans out, though, because we saw Shane go long on his first stint, and only a few drivers went longer than him. He may go long again, and if he gets the extra point for leading a lap, well, then Halil has to beat him by 2 positions, otherwise they'll tie on points. So could be a bit of strategy left in it for them. Brett O'Brien, though, what a gain he's had so far this race, up 10. He has had a shorter stop on the first fill, but we know he's a fuel strategist master. He's great at saving fuel as well. He's taken track position here, Brett, and this is the sort of strategy that O'Brien plays. He takes a shorter fill on the first stint. He then gets track position, runs it clean at the front, and he oftentimes doesn't really drop too many positions because of that, because of the raw pace that he has in this car and how consistent he is as well, where if he were back where he started, as Mulford just gets it past Cesar.
Yeah, he'd be choked up.
If he'd be back, with the likes of Michael Quain, Brett Taylor, which great to see Michael back out on track this week. Brett Taylor, Andrew Hoffman, and then yourself, Brett. He may be a bit choked up, as you said, in the traffic a little bit, and it'd be a much bigger struggle than running in clean air where he is at this stage.
And that's what I was saying before. Just those little smarter plays help, big time. And you sort of Van der Millen and pit lane. You just have those little things that you do that seem to work and work well, and you sort of get used to where you can apply them. That's stuff that I'm still trying to develop, amongst, trying to develop my racing skills and things like that as well. Slowly getting there. But, same as like with fuel saving, that's another sort of key ingredient to the perfect racer. And, you slowly build up this repertoire of different things you can do, different smart things, different, things you can see that's going on, and you make the right choices, and you end up putting up a really good championship towards the end of the season.
So Sean Van der Millen has now come into pit lane for his final stop of the race. So he's obviously tried to get into some clean air, maybe hoping for that safety car, as we said, and trying to battle his way forward in this race as best he can. I mean, there's not much more he can do, Brett, other than hope and pray that something happens to the guys at the front in Ricky Hyde, who's now gotten past Matt Muggleton, which Matt would have been happy to give that up. He knows that all he needs is a top 5 at this stage, and he's won the title.
Yeah. Hyde looking to go for a pass on Burns.
Yeah, Burns going to give it to him. I mean, not surprising. Yep. Team play. Give Ricky the lead. Let him now lead the rest of this race to the pit stop, get most laps led, takes an extra point off of Muggleton, and now Burns can be your rear gunner to back him up. So, the strategy should really be, and it seems a bit out of sorts for this to happen, Burns needs to try and back up Muggleton now as much as possible. Get Jim onto the back of him. Get Shane and get Tim Mulford onto the back of him. It's a whirlwind away, and of course with Matt only needing one more stop, if that begins to happen, he may just come into pits and try and undercut Paul, because, well, Paul can't go as long as Matt can. He underfilled the car, so he's only going to be able to do it for so long now. So that might be the saving grace for Matt Muggleton here, and taking away the opportunity for 801 Sim Sports to strategize and back him up into the cars behind him.
I'm really looking forward to the field being cleansed of its second pit stops to see where everyone's at, to see whether we close some gaps or what's going to start to play out towards the final section of this race as well. So we can still see, as we just jump on Cesar, he's Cesar on the back of Mulford. He's just tucked in there nicely. And then we've got Vig on the back of Zeal. We've got Brett Taylor on the back of Quaney. Myself on the back of Hoffy. So there's still a few challenges out there at the moment. There's some spreading out going on as well. So that's on lap 19 of 38 here.
Yep, so we are about to be on the halfway point of the race the next time by. So we'll take this time to give thanks to our series sponsor, Racecraft Simulations. Of course, they've been a long time supporter of the series. They've been on board as a title sponsor of the series since season 18 of the Vets, so coming up on 6 seasons now. The PT1 is something of childhood dreams, I must say. It is an absolute beast. We're going to take this time, though, to give thanks to Racecraft Simulations by going to a quick ad break from them. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back very, very soon with the crescendo of season 23, the split 2 action of the Racecraft Simulations V8 Veterans. We'll be back soon. Great to be back, ladies and gentlemen. As we said, a big thank you to Racecraft Simulations. If you're in the WA area, head over to 16 Grogan Road, Perth Airport. Have a chat to John and the team. Check out some of the rigs they've got on the floor. Test them out for yourself. And if you've got some spare coin, maybe even order a rig for yourself as well. And if you've got extra spare coin, maybe even order that PT1. It's not limited to people in WA. If you live in Australia, they do ship Australia-wide straight to your door for you to get one of those beautiful... They will ship to Mudgee. They will ship to Mudgee, don't worry. I don't know if it'll come in a shipping container or not, though, Brett. I'm not sure. You might have to sort that one out with John there, see if you can cut a deal for a Racecraft branded shipping container. But at this stage of the race, lap 22 of 38. Ricky Hyde leads the way by 0.6 of a second over his teammate Paul Burns. Matt Muggleton, Jim Caparonis are the corrected podium at this stage, as Muggleton and Kappa should gain on Burns in the pit stop. Randall corrected in the top 5 as well. Mulford, Cesar, Rushworth and Clifton are all in amongst this battle too. O'Brien inside of the top 10 up 11 spots. Weston up 12 into P11, having a fantastic race thus far. One of his best of the season, I think, can be said here, Brett. And if he can continue going on these strides, he may be one of our nominees for the evening. Rick Varga doing well, 2 up 4. Adrian Zeal up 2, having a strong run. Michael Quain up 5, one of his best races of the season thus far. Brett Taylor, really impressed by this performance thus far, up 9 spots. Does need his second compulsory stop, but if Brett can get himself a top 15 here, again, could be one of the nominees.
Oh,
I'm liking what I'm seeing from Mr. Taylor.
Yeah.
I've seen him have some minor success elsewhere. I want to see him get that Vets success. That's what I want to see from Mr. Taylor.
And I was just looking in the standings here. Brett Taylor is 22 currently on the standings. So, you know, it's a reasonable season.
Yeah, maybe not as good as maybe he had hoped, as Paul Burns is in pit lane. So that's now released Matt Muggleton to try and chase down the 3-second gap up to Ricky Hyde. Caperonis goes onto the podium. Randall up into P4 with Cesar now inside of the top 5 as well. Andrew Rushworth, Mick Clifton there as well. Mulford and O'Brien in pit lane. Does Weston follow it? Does he keep going? He's going to keep on going. That'll put him inside the 10. Same for Rick Feiger. Same for Adrian Zeal. And the same can be said for Michael Quain, who'll be in P11 on the road once they pass pit lane here as well. So it's heating up, Brett. Pressure's starting to build on some drivers. But for Matt Muggleton, Michael Quain's teammate, in his final run for the team, he's currently the champion-elect with less than 15 or just about 15 laps to go.
Yeah, he'd be sitting pretty at the moment, and you'd have to be knowing that. And it's hard too, because say like sometimes if you turn the dial down a little bit, you know, you make simple errors and things like that. So as well, while you want to be driving conservative, you still want to be driving hard enough so you don't make those little errors as well. So
that's right. He just has to try and keep it on the road at this point and keep it within the fight. That's what he has to do.
For sure. And what I was saying about Brett Taylor before, you know, like 22nd at the current standings and thing, and it's not being a bad effort. I mean, the thing is too, you've got to remember that this split is now so fine, you know, like you got to take it easy on yourself where you are in the championship, you know, because the field has compressed so much over the last couple of series that it doesn't take much to be, you know, from the top down to half and even further than half. So, you know, you've got to keep your chin up as much as minimising your mistakes and things like that. And we all want to do better than what our last race and all this stuff. But also you've got to sort of say, okay, well, I survived this season. I, you know, had a reasonable one. Let's go next season. Let's go better.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's the opportunities there for Brett, and you mentioned the margins are fine. I think the margins are so fine. This split is basically a dreadlock. I mean, it is that close between hairs that you cannot separate it. That's how close the margins
dreadlock.
are. Well, you know.
Oh, well, some people will have smelly dreadlocks. Some people use the cream or the lotion or whatever it is, and it's all right. But you know, geez, Brett Taylor on the back of Quainey at the moment.
Yeah, put the pressure on him as well. Just want to give these guys a bit of time on screen because we haven't really seen much of them this season. I know Michael struggled a few weeks ago, but it's good to see him back out on track, having a go here in the final race and supporting, you know, his driver Matt Muggleton for the final time in that team out here on circuit of VIR. It's good to see from Michael. And for Brett, I mean, he's having a good run. The other Brett, Mr. Fisher, having a good run at the moment. You're having a good comeback at this point here, Brett, after money shifting.
Mate, I was surprised. Yeah, I was surprised to sort of be up this high at the moment. Obviously, still got to, I think, do my last stop at this stage. So we'll see where we end up. Not totally destroyed at this point. But I must say I was very comfortable in the car and I felt fast, actually. I felt fast, and I was actually really, really enjoying this race. Even though I had a blown motor early in the race, I was really, really enjoying the car around this track.
Muggleton and Caperonis. Yep, they are indeed. We didn't mention,
sorry, Hamish. We didn't mention before. Sean Vandermeulen has now currently got the fastest lap. He does. In the ad break,
he got that in the ad break. 1:48.99 from Vandermeulen on that lap. So he is rocketing up the field, trying to do anything he can here in this race. So Muggleton, Caperonis, Rushworth, Zeal are all in pit lane. Ricky Hyde still leads. I had a comment there saying, with what we've seen, this split is the most competitive. I mean, the proof has been in the pudding. This last season, in terms of a championship battle, it was as little competitive as Split 1 was in terms of how big the gap was in the championship battle, with the fact that Barnett won the title with 7 race wins. this has been as close as it's been for quite a while in Split 2 in terms of the championship battle, where we've got 5 drivers who could win the title. Blanchard in, as Brett quietly says on the wall.
Sorry.
But it's about what I think's happened with this split is, and it's what it used to be as well. We only had 3 splits, and has been even more condensed now that we have 4. Is that there are so many drivers in this split, so close on pace. There is not a runaway driver who is all out faster than every single person in the split. It is so close, and yes, there are groupings within the split, of course, as there always would be. There's drivers who are as fast as each other but slower than others, or faster than others. But it is such a close split. It's a completely different race style as Hyde comes in. It's a completely different race style to Split 1. And I think it offers something different to Split 1 as well, which is what you want. You want some characteristic about it, as Randall will take the lead, and he'll lead a lap here, Brett, of the race, which means he will earn himself an extra point, which means that Cesar, if he wanted P6 in the championship, would have to beat Randall by 2 positions now on the road for that to happen.
Yeah, that's playing out. Look, we talked about this series, and it has been. We talked about it being a cracker series, but it has been. It's been very, very exciting. We haven't had that runaway winner. We've had a couple of double ups and things like that, but we have. It's me. Got a great pass. What was I going to say? We haven't seen a runaway winner, which is fantastic to see. We've seen, alternating winners. We've seen a couple of people, win a couple of times. So it's kept the series alive, and I think that's probably what has brought the energy to this series, the Series 23. And it's been exciting to watch, been exciting to be a part of this whole series, and I've really, really enjoyed, seeing it all unfold. Okay, I'm actually in the split myself, but still you don't know what goes on around you, and it's great to see what's happening on track.
It definitely
in other parts.
It's brought a different element to it as well. Obviously, Scotty brought us the mindset of the most successful vets driver, and how he would approach things. Where you're bringing the element of, well, you actually raced in the race, you competed on the day. So you can tell us what it was like in the cockpit, on the tarmac, and how everything was affecting you as a driver in this particular race. And I want to give you another stat, though, Brett, that I was given today. Most different winners this season out of any split. 6 different winners in Split 2.
That just goes to prove how exciting it is, and it has been, and it will continue to be as exciting, I hope, and to continue on to 24. But it is it definitely brought the live, the live action, the excitement, and all that sort of stuff to this split. It's been fantastic. And what I was going to say, I consider myself a very average driver, and I'm on a learning curve, and I'm just trying to learn as much as I can, and look at things objectively and get better and do things better and learn more. So I've got a long way. I mean, I've been sim racing since, I don't know, mid-90s. But there's still heaps to learn, and with new generations of cars, new iterations of hardware and software and things like that, there's just so much to learn, and there's always you can do better, and I think that's the thing for myself that I'm sort of most excited about. I love the racing. I love, having someone chase me out, and chasing somebody else, trying to figure out a way to pass them, and do it cleanly, and that's exciting for me. I love it. Absolutely love it.
So you got Ricky Hyde chasing you down at the moment, Brett, who is the corrected leader of the race. Are you getting the elbows
I knew he was
out on
coming
him?
too. No, I don't think. No, I knew he was coming, and I knew that he was going to be faster than myself, and I thought, look, if he gets right up on me, I'll let him pass, because there's no point in holding him up. I think I was just about to sort of go into pits anyway. So I just thought, keep head down, bum up, just do what I'm doing. Try not to, and the hard thing is to try not to force an error into myself as well, knowing you've got a fast guy behind you. But I just wanted to hold my own, which was great.
Well, at the moment, you're projected to come out of pit lane in P11 on the P10 on the road. So
that's good.
I found the pit out position option on SDK, so that tells me where people...
Oh, nice.
It goes off of 20 seconds, which some tracks it's not a 20-second loss, some it's 35, but gives me a rough idea of where people are going to end up.
Brett Fisher in pits.
Yeah, Brett Fisher.
Not bad considering, that I blew my motor and I was down in nearly dead last, not so long ago. So I'm pretty stoked with that current position. So
Randall out of pits too, going to come out just in behind Jim Caparonis and around about Andrew Rushworth, who comes past in towards turn 1. Paul Burns now hot on his heels as he exits pit lane. So it's worked out well for him. Where is Mr. Fisher? He's just dropped off the jacks. Where is Scott Weston? He's right there. So you're going to drop to these guys. But what a comeback so far, though, Brett. I mean, you're going to be down a few on where you started. But, I mean, I'd take it as a win after blowing your engine at the start of the race.
Oh, yeah. I mean, look, all I wanted to do was consolidate as much as I could. And as I said, I enjoyed this. After my blown engine, all sorts of stuff, I actually enjoyed the race. It was really good. The pressure was off. I would have loved to have seen, obviously where I would have been if I didn't blow my engine. But, it is what it is, and you get what you get, and you don't get upset. But have a look at this. This is a good one. So we've got Brian Hoffman, Vigor, and myself out there at the moment. Now, this was a fantastic train. Oh, here we got Zeal and
Michael Quain. Zeal and Quain have made contact down at turn 5. So it hasn't been a real chaotic race thus far. But there has been a couple of moments where drivers have just been entangled alongside each other a little bit. Vandermeulen wants the spot on Zeal. Oh, Zippy's not going to give it to him. At that point, I would think probably should just give it to him, Zippy. He's trying to run through the field and you've just blocked him as he's about to come past. But still, nonetheless.
Zippy's he's trying to run his own race.
Oh, that's what happens. You get put under pressure and off the road he goes.
Unforced error.
I didn't even know he did that. I've just caught that by complete luck then.
Yeah, well done. That was good. Well, not good for Zippy, but Mick Clifton on Burns. Looks like he's closed the gap, and Clifton's got the pass done for 6.
Oh, here comes
very
Cesar.
tight up here, and Cesar
wants to get up the inside as well.
Yep.
Oh, so close.
Interesting on that corner previously, I think it was turn 4, I think. Interesting in different lines that people take through that corner. It's quite amazing to watch, different lines. Look like we might have 10th place dropped out, which I believe might be Damon. Unfortunately, lost internet connection. And unfortunately for him, because he was in 10th spot at that point, he was on for a reasonable finish after putting the car on P2. The starting grid, so that's a real shame for him. And as I talked about before, I'd really like to see him have a full season, with minimised his mistakes. But because he's fast, he just needs to put it all together.
Well, that has now promoted Scott Weston inside of the top 10, up 13 positions after internet issues of his own plagued him for a little while. It's good to see Scotty back on track tonight, having a strong performance, and I think if he can hold out inside of the top 10, almost would be a guaranteed nomination for himself, at least into the chat.
Have a look at this. Have a look at this train though here. Like behind Weston, so Weston, O'Brien, Hoffman, Vigor, himself, and not too far behind Brett Taylor as well. So there's a big gaggle of cars there. So lap 38, 9 laps to go.
Yes, 9 laps to go. So Rushworth, Randall battling it out here in towards turn 1. So one of the closer battles inside of the top 10 in behind that is Halil Cesar and Paul Burns battling away for P6 with Mick Clifton up the road from them as well. Mulford in on his world of his own here, back 4 seconds from these guys, and then roughly 21 seconds back from them is Scott Weston at the back end of the top 10. So been some good pace though out of the 10. I'm excited to see what guys like Randall and Clifton and Burns and Cesar and Mulford can do next season. Now, and I think Tim struggled in the first part of the season as the debutant. Now, of course, he's got a world of racing experience around him, not just in his own experience, but his team's experience as well. And I think it was maybe just treading the new waters, maybe got to him a little bit, but he's really come into his groove over the last few weeks. He'll be a driver to keep an eye on next season. Paul Burns as well, remaining with 801 Sim Sports. Mick Clifton too, of course. They get a new teammate into that team, so that'll change up the dynamic of the team a little bit. Shane will be getting not only Ray Smith into Split 2 next season to help him, but also a new teammate coming into that team as well, which would be announced in future.
Look at this pressure that he's putting on.
He's putting it on.
Randall, Rushworth, sorry.
He's putting it on him. Shows the nose.
Yeah.
He's putting all sorts of pressure here on Andrew Rushworth. Really making him feel like he's on the ragged edge of a Megadeth because he's sweating bullets at the moment.
How good was it if he got a good exit out of the last turn on the front straight, you know, and then you know, like the toe wasn't just quite enough to sort of pull you up really far. So you had to be really ballsy on if you wanted to go the inside move. But if you could get that inside move done, you know, hold the car out to the marbles a bit, you know, like it's a great move. Obviously that didn't happen that time around, but yeah, like we talked about before, you're really on the pegs, you're really on the tippy toes, trying to get that car pulled up cleanly, and the last thing you want to do is slide into the car beside you.
Especially as well when it's a championship contender that you're battling with too.
Yeah.
You know, not that Andrew can do very much about it at the moment. You know, he needs Matt and Ricky to finish outside of the top 10 for that to really happen. So it's not really going to happen at this point for Andrew, but it's been a very strong season for him as well.
This battle pack behind Western has closed right up, so that has really started to become a bit of a pressure cooker in itself there. I must say, the racing in this little pack here was absolutely sensational. I had a nice little view from down the back. You know, a couple of moves here and there were tried, but fantastic racing, boys. That was absolutely brilliant to be a part of. Just to watch it unfold. You know, everyone sort of, you know, O'Brien had a couple of dips, I think. You know, Hoffman had a couple of dips. You know, yeah, it was fantastic to be a part of it. Excellent stuff. You know, 3, 1, 3, 4, 5 cars within, you know, half a second of each other. Absolutely sensational battle.
Weston, who's had one of the strongest runs thus far in this race, feeling the pressure at this stage. Brett O'Brien hot on his heels with Andrew Hoffman right there as well, who's had a great strategic play this race, trusting his spotter Mikey Harlan to come in early and just fight his way through the field. And he's only 2 spots away from a top 10 at the moment is Andrew, but it is a phenomenal performance from him thus far. Rick Viger up 3 as well, and then yourself, Brett, hot on the back of this battle pack. So it is really heating up for the final top 10 position of the season thus far. It is really, really starting to peak for us. Further up inside that top 10 battle, Rushworth, Randall, Clifton, Burns, they're all beginning their battles once again. And, you know, well, thinking about it now, maybe Rushworth could have started just to maybe back Randall up a little bit, back him into Clifton, use your future teammate to your advantage, let him put the pressure on him and take the pressure off you to try and run down the 3.5 second gap up to Jim Caparonis on the podium at this stage.
Well, and talk about Caparonis in the 3rd spot at the moment, so he hopefully he can actually finish out this race in a you know, a comeback sort of a race for next season. You know, this will bring him back, you know, so he's been on pace, he's had a great season, made some mistakes, had some errors, you know, been caught up in a couple of things, so this will hopefully bring Jim back into the limelight where he wants to be.
Not just that, really put the cherry on top of a season that started so strong, a little bit of struggles in the mid part of the season, and then the mistake, unfortunately, last week at Interlagos, which really took him out of this championship battle. But through the racing at Daytona and the win at Sebring at the start of the season, for Jim now, looking back on it, maybe it'll be a thought of a season, a missed opportunity a little bit. Maybe it's the same for Ricky Hyde. At the moment, though, for Matt Muggleton, he'll look on this season and he'll think, what a strong way for me to finish at my current team. What a strong way for me to make up for missing out on the last 2 races of last season where he was in with a chance for a championship and a split 1 spot. But unfortunately, it just went by the wayside for him. So thanks to getting surgery. But this season, he came back stronger. In the pre-season talks that I had with John Van Ray, I mentioned that Matt was going to be a driver I'd be keeping an eye on this season. I predicted he was going to be one of the stronger drivers in the split, alongside Ricky Hyde, alongside Sean Vandermeulen, and he has proven me no wrong at this stage. And at the moment, he looks to prove me right by being the champion-elect with a little under 5 or a little over 5 laps to go.
And he's got a nice, like he's got Jim Cavaronis about 3.5 seconds off the back. So there's no pressure. There's no pressure. Drive to your strengths. Keep doing what you're doing. And the prize is all yours.
That's right. That's all he has to do. Speaking, though, of putting pressure, Brett Fisher putting some real pressure at the moment on Rick Viger as they jump up the hill here towards turn 10. Hoffman a little bit further up the road from Viger here, but it seems Shadow Racing may be getting into a line of pressure cookers here.
Oh yeah,
Brett.
Definitely. I don't know whether the Aldi brand or they're like a mid-tier brand, but the cookers are coming. And I tell you what, next season I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully I can sort of back up the season that I've had so far with it, making it even better.
Well, George Foreman has his grill. Maybe Vet starts a line of Brett Fisher pressure cookers.
Or Shadow pressure cookers.
Oh, Shadow
just
pressure
to bring
cookers.
other people. Yeah, just to bring other
one of
people
your
in.
drivers is on the
Not all of it,
committee,
mate.
so it could happen.
Yeah.
Could very well happen.
Any companies out there, just reach out. I'll give you an email address.
We'll just drop ship some pressure cookers to people.
Yep.
So Scott Weston at the back end of the top 10 at the moment. Brenton O'Brien hot on his heels here with Andrew Hoffman as well. So this pressure,
He's dealing with the pressure really well.
He is.
He's
really
dealing
is.
with the pressure exceptionally well. Like to have a look at behind you and see that many cars behind you chasing you. You've got to, the pressure's got to be there. And O'Brien doing a fantastic job. He's just putting the nose, showing the nose here and there. And as you can see, that line through that corner. Look at O'Brien on the outside. So it's all there. Oh, Hoffy having a sneak a little on the inside.
He wants.
It's all started to sort of heat up a lot.
It really
Brett
has.
Taylor's come right into it as well now.
This has been some great wheel-to-wheel racing thus far. It hasn't been, the most chaotic of races this season. I think that'll still stand with Interlagos. But it has been a very, very good, sort of race. I'd say I'd have to watch back all the other races to really think about which ones were very, very good and which ones were a bit poor. I think Sebring, we started off very, very strong, though. That was quite a good race. But for me, for my money, the best 2 races of the season, well, they were the last 2 rounds, Interlagos and Daytona. They really turned it on. And tonight's race, and it's not turning it on as much as those ones, but for the drivers in the field, they'll be feeling like they're in a championship battle. They'll be feeling like this is a proper crescendo to the championship. And they're actually having to battle and fight and claw and go tooth and nail for any position they can find, because it's already such a tough track to pass, made even harder with a Gen 3 supercar.
Well, I mean, these 2 battle packs on screen that we've just been showing, I mean, that's a testament to this split. How good is it? The split is so close. Like you're waiting for someone to make a mistake. You're trying everything you can to get past them. But look at the racing. It's clean. It's great. No one's making silly manoeuvres and just going to do something desperate, because they all know that why do something desperate when you're going to take yourself out. But they're all within half a second, under half a second, a quarter of a second even. So fantastic stuff, guys. It's great to see, especially in the final race of this series. And I think, they're just...
It makes me hopeful, and it makes me excited for season 24 and what it can bring to our table and what's going to be dished up to us for next season. Whether we get demotions from Split 1 or whether we stay with this crew and we only get, promotions from Split 3. I do feel personally, to me, Brett, I think that this season really benefited from the fact that there were no demotions and that we brought in drivers from Split 3 and and the rest of the field, they were basically the same from the season before, apart from 5 drivers who went up. So I think it has really played its part well. It'll be interesting how the committee and how management deal with pre-qualifying, and if drivers who've done less than 50% of the season without any answer, if they do pre-qualifying or not. I mean, I'm under the belief that I think they should if they've re-signed up for next season. They haven't done the majority of the season. And how that would then shape up the standings as well, and where people would be if people who have been in Split 1 but haven't raced all season, where they would actually seed into the rest of the field.
Oh, I can't wait to sort of see it all unfold and see where we're all going to land and get this next season started. I think I mean, is this season been the Ritz crackers of crackers? I don't know.
Definitely not a Salada.
Oh, no, not a Salada at all.
Nowhere near a Crusket, I'll say that. Nowhere near.
Nah.
In a good way.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with the Crusket, but it's not a Crusket. It's better than a Crusket.
Maybe a Ritz, maybe a Jats cracker.
Yep.
They're very, very similar. I'm under the belief that they are the same. I feel this season has really
Savoy?
been the Savoy. This season has been the Arnott's shapes of all seasons. There's been a little bit of everything all season long.
Yeah.
And
cool.
and one which has been spiced up more times
Arnott's,
we can
if you
count.
want to send us some shape biscuits, I'll give you my email address, which is Brett.
Well, to be fair, Shane Randall works at Arnott's.
Oh, Shane.
I know, we're still yet to get our free samples. Been waiting nearly 2 years for them.
Randall, come on.
2 laps to go, though, for Ricky Hyde at the front of the field.
Let's rev this up. Let's get it excited, boys, because we're going to bring home a fantastic season. Here we go. Couple of laps to go here.
This has been a spectacular season. Ricky Hyde will look to get his 2nd win of the season and join the small list of drivers to win multiple races in season 23. Currently, there's only 2 of them, Matt Muggleton, who won 3 races this season, and Sean Vandermillen, who won 2. And Ricky Hyde is a little over 6 kilometres away from winning his 2nd race of the season. For Muggleton, well, it looks to be a championship wrapped up. He's given up 7 seconds to Ricky Hyde at the front of the field, but he sits 2.8 seconds ahead of Jim Caparonis, and then a further 4.7 seconds to Shane Randall. So we're taking an almighty mistake for Matt Muggleton to drop out of a championship winning position at this stage. He's not getting the bonus points for leading most laps or for the fastest lap of the race at this stage. So he's only getting the bonus point for leading a lap, and I believe going 0x at this point. I don't think he's actually had an incident all race. It's been a very, very good run here from Matt Muggleton. Jim Caparonis, he started it out strong. We started the season with him taking a race win, and then the middle period of the season there was a little lull period, but he's really started to fight back at the last half. I'm excited to see what these guys do in Split 1. Same for Andrew Rushworth, who really resurged himself this season and put himself in a positive championship position. And the same can be said for Sean Vandermillen, who unfortunately just had a very unlucky night tonight, was taken out in the early goings, no fault of his own, and then just made mistakes from there. But for Ricky Hyde, he's caught the white flag, and it's 1 lap to go in season 23. And it's 1 lap to go of Virginia International Raceway.
As we wind down, I feel a sadness creeping in, but also some excitement, of course. Still some battles up and down the field too, so it's just taken it right to the very end, which is great to see for everyone. Must say thanks to everyone for watching Split 2 broadcast. It's great to be here, and hope you're all enjoying it, and hope you're all going to enjoy tuning in next season. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. That'd be fantastic. Let's see if we can push it up even further than what we have already, and get some excitement going. So still under halfway to go now for Ricky Hyde.
Not long to go for him at this stage. of the race, and he has been battling his way throughout this season. There was not much more could be done for him tonight to challenge the top two in the championship. But for Ricky Hyde, it's a strong performance. It's a strong way for him to end the season. It'll be his second win of the season as well, by 8 seconds on the road at Virginia International Raceway. Ricky Hyde wins the final round of the season of season 23 of the V8 Vets, and Matt Muggleton, through trials and tribulations, the most races won this season with 3. He'll take the championship in season 23 after finishing P2 on the road with Jim Caparonis in P3. And then Andrew Rushworth will take home P4. Randall will get home in P5. That's good enough for 6 in the championship with Clifton Burns. And then Cesar in P8 for P7 in the title race. Tim Mulford and then Scotty Weston will look to come home inside of the top 10, ahead of Brenton O'Brien, Andrew Hoffman, Rick Feiger, Brett Fisher and Brett Taylor chasing him down.
We come over the line there and consolidate, or we seal that in fate now. Fantastic race, boys. Well done. Well done to all the podium getters for this race and for our champions.
So as the other drivers will get themselves prepared to run around towards the end of this race, it is pomp and circumstance for Mr. Matt Muggleton here this evening. And for him, well, it was an absolutely incredible season for Old Mate and Sons. For him, it was a season that was marked with incredible opportunities, 3 race wins, multitude of top 10s, and a multitude of top 5s as well. And Matt Muggleton is officially the season 23 Split 2 champion here this season, ladies and gentlemen. Unfortunately for Sean Vandermeulen, he just dropped by the wayside in the end. As I said, no fault of his own, unfortunately for him. But for Matt, it was an absolutely exceptional performance all season long. And he takes the championship win though. But we got to start with our podium finishers here this evening, including P3 on the road, Jim Caparonis. Andrew Hoffman will be coming and have a chat to us on behalf of Jim. So we'll drag him in now for a quick chat. Hoffy, have you got your Greek on to match Caparonis here tonight?
No, mate, I haven't got the look, sorry. But yeah, I'll do my best. Jim can't make it tonight, so he's asked me to stand in and talk Greek.
Well, I mean, Jim had an exceptional season in the end there, Andrew. I mean, he started the season off hot with that race win, of course, and then had that little lull period in the mid part of the season, and then some great performances towards the end. I mean, as a team boss, do you think there was anything more that Jim could have done? Maybe he could have improved upon to challenge for this title a little bit closer in the final round?
Yeah, I don't know. I sort of don't think about what's happened in the past. You know, it's sort of, we rallied around him and, you know, just tried to get him to move on to the next race. Yeah, Jim's okay with it. You know, Jim's got a lot of pace. He's got split 1 pace. And, yeah, so, you know, it's unfortunate what's happened. You can't change it, so move on.
Do you think, sorry, Hamish, was that last race of Jim's, did he mention to you that, you know, like that was a bit of a comeback for him? Did it lift his spirits, you know, knowing that he's probably going to go to split 1 next season? How did he feel that race went?
Yeah, I think from what he was saying, it went really well. But we were all heartbroken when, you know, I'll just say it, when Sean got taken out, because that's, you know, that's, no one wants to see that happen. Yeah, I think that sort of, what's the word? I
just
think
took the flavour off it.
Yeah, I think it really
Yeah,
took
yeah.
the flavour off the race. So yeah, it was hard to watch during the race. But anyway, Jim felt like it went well. I mean, he got a podium, so yeah, he's happy and he's looking forward to season 24.
Well, Andrew, a very strong performance from Jim this season. Your team continues to develop as we go along. Of course, you guys got your first Split 1 driver in Wayne Sanderson this season. Jim will join him for next season as well. Plus, you've also got Mikey Harlan coming into the team as well to help, continue to support you guys. Let us know, helps get Southern Cross Racing out on track. Anyone else you or Jim may want to give a shout out to, and for myself, Brett and the rest of the league, big congratulations to Jim on his top 5 in the championship and his podium finish here this evening.
Yeah, I just got to look at me friggin' sponsors. Oh, geez, it's hard work. Yeah, sorry.
Chubby Buns.
Yeah, Chubby Buns, Photo Plus, Steel Line, who's a personal sponsor of mine, and I just want to say a big thanks to the team. We've all rallied together. It's great. Mikey coming into the team has brought a different kind of flavour into it, which has just made everyone, have a little bit more skip in their step. So, and I also want to thank the league for their support with Dane. It's been a tough week, but it's been a good week with the support from the team. And thanks to Logitech as well. And thanks to you both. Great commentary. Love it. Love to watch it. And also to the, who was it, 4.7 BIA for tuning in and taking over from where Dane left off.
Very good, Andrew. Best of luck next season in your efforts here in Split 2. And best of luck to Jim in his efforts up in Split 1 for season 24.
Yeah, thanks, guys, and take care, right? Catch you.
You too. Next up, we have Andrew Rushworth, who ended up finishing P3 in the championship. He was P4 on the road tonight. We'll have a quick chat to him before we have a chat to our champion. Andrew, great effort this season. P4 on the road tonight. P3 in the championship as well. You'll be heading up to Split 1 next season to join, Jason Spriggs. I've lost my mind now. Who your new teammates are in Split 1 of Accelerate Sim Racing. But you join your new team, you head up to Split 1, and you have been on the rise over the last 2 seasons, and an incredible effort this season. You have really proven your worth. How are you feeling now, knowing that you're going to be going to Split 1 for the first time and coming off the back of such a strong season here in Split 2?
Yeah, thanks, Hamish. Thanks, Brett. Yeah, quite nervous to go to Split 1. Not sure if I'm ready for that level of competitiveness, but, having teammates in there that I'll be able to learn off and work together with should be interesting. So, yeah, just going to play it by ear. And this season for me has been probably one of my favourites. Had some really awesome battles, some very memorable races on a few different tracks, and yeah, just really enjoyed Split 2. It's, as one of the people in the chat said, it's probably been the most competitive and respectful splits, I think. Just the guys around, and big congrats to Matt for taking out the championship, and for Ricky for winning tonight's race, and so gutted for Sean. I have a feeling he knew what he had to do for the race, and after he, was unfortunately involved in that Term 1 incident, I think that sort of just put him on the back foot, and he'd been so strong all season, so I was really gutted for him, and I know he's got a lot of pace, so I look forward to hopefully battling him in Split 1.
Well, I mean, it was obviously a very very strong run for you this season, and as somber as it was for Sean, in this race, he you guys all still had some fantastic battles this season. I think for me, Daytona was one of our best races of the season because it was literally all 5 of you battling it out for those final few laps, and it was one that was just such a crescendo for that part of the season. What sort of mindset are you going to be bringing into Split 1 next season now? Do you think there's going to be some having to prove yourself, or are you just going to be taking it one race at a time, seeing where your pace sort of lands amongst that field, and how well you can get used to the racing style of Split 1 comparatively to the racing style of Split 2 and Split 3 of the 2 seasons prior?
Well, look, heading into Split 1, I'm sort of run my own race, I think, and if I can work with any of my teammates that are around me, 100%, I want to do that. I know Wayne Walker's always been up more of the pointy end of Split 1, so I don't think I'll be seeing much of him. But look, I'm just gonna, it's a whole different list of drivers that I'll have to learn how they race on track, and yeah, just take one race at a time. It's gonna be a lot of learning for me, and yeah, I think I sort of need to calm down a little bit with my driving just to make the car last, and smooth is what is it? Smooth is slow. Oh, I don't know. Slow is smooth. Smooth is fast. Yeah. So just enjoy. I'm happy to be getting up to Split 1, so I'll take it while I can.
Well, Andrew, it's been a very, very strong season for yourself, and your final outing for Apex Esports League. Let us know, helps get you and the team out on track. Anyone else you wish to give a shout out to as well, for myself, Brett, and the rest of the league, congratulations on your P4 on the road here tonight, but your P3 in the championship.
Yeah, thanks Hamish and Brett. Firstly, a big thanks to you guys for the broadcast. It's been awesome. Really love the graphic work you did at the start of tonight's stream, Hamish. That was awesome. But yeah, shout out to the sponsors and partners of Apex. It's Pagney Advanced Simulation, Next Level Racing, 5, Dubby, Fanatec, Razor, Stump Grinding Central Coast, Cubby One's Burgers, Project 45 Designs, and Waper Pools and Spa Services. And of course, a huge shout out to JT and the Apex Esports League and all of my teammates. I'm going to miss them all because they've been, I've been with them for a year and a half now. So yeah, big shout out to my brother and my mum. They watch the streams each week, so I really appreciate their support. And yeah, it's going to be tough having this change, but I'm looking forward to it.
Well, top level drive this season, I think, is what we could say for that one, Brett, isn't it? It's been incredible.
Oh, yeah, brilliant, mate. Absolutely brilliant. And I think you said it before, is, like you're a bit apprehensive going to Split 1. Are you ready for it? And things like that. Mate, just enjoy your racing. Enjoy your racing, learn, and keep pushing forward. That's ultimately what we all want to do, isn't it? So just enjoy it. Just enjoy it. Take the pressure off yourself and just enjoy and do the best you can, and you'll have a cracker.
Yeah, thanks, Brett. I do look forward to it. I really hope that they do replace Long Beach with the Bend, because Long Beach on a single screen.
Long Beach
on a single screen, it's not fun.
Long Beach might be your chance for a top 10 in Split 1. Survive the chaos. See what happens. You never know.
Yeah, on a single TV, it's not fun.
Oh, might be time. Maybe you might need to get Greg Favell to put the hand in the pocket and see if he can get you triples or something. But a great season though, Andrew. Congratulations on all your success this season. 2 promotions in 2 seasons. Fantastic effort, and best of luck in Split 1 next season, and best of luck at the new team for Accelerate Sim Sports.
Yeah,
well done,
thank
Andrew.
you very much. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Ricky Hyde, unfortunately, can't be here tonight. He unfortunately has COVID. So he just said in the chat there.
Oh, keep him out.
Yeah, he just said, I don't want to get it. We have to socially distance.
Yeah, that's it.
He just said in the chat then, I'll skip the chat, but just say how great the broadcast commentators are, how good the drivers are, how good the RC team has been keeping us in line, and thanks for their family and friends who watch us and let us do what we love. We thank you. So thank you so much, Ricky, for those kind words in the chat. Next up, we have our season 23 V8 Veterans champion of Split 2 of Old Mate and Sons. For the final time, Matt Muggleton.
Hello.
Woo-hoo. Your final race for the Old Mate and Sons, and you take home a podium. Ironically, you finish P2 in the number 2 car, but you not only that, you also take home the championship, and you go into Team AJR as their only driver who has won a championship. Not that you did it at their team though, but still, you walk into that team with a new air of confidence about yourself, maybe ready to challenge your fellow statement of Luke Ullman for number 1 Team AJR driver. But Matt, congratulations, top effort, and yeah, solid season to boot, and one where you never had it easy. Yes, you won 3 races, but you were challenged all the way through.
Yeah, cheers, guys. Yeah, that was a great season. Yeah, like you say, there was that pack of us. We're always moving towards the front, and it was getting harder and harder. But yeah, I mean, I've been on iRacing I think since 2013, and I've never won any championships in any series. So it's kind of unreal. That's why I've always carried the number 2. It was a bit of a joke, but so
sweet victory.
Yeah, I don't know what other number I'm going to use now, but yeah, no, it was that last race. I got to say, I feel like Sean was robbed. When I got past him, and I thought, I'm just going to drive this like it's qualifying, and that's all I can do. I think that he would have cruised home easy with enough points, but it's racing. It's the way it goes. It's just a tough one to take at the finale, I guess.
Well, it could have happened to anyone. Could have happened to you, and unfortunately, it happened to Sean out on track tonight. Let us know. I mean, what's the feeling now? Obviously, just like Andrew, you're going into a new team next season, into Split 1 for the first time. Arguably, if you hadn't missed the final 2 rounds last season, you would have been in Split 1 this season. Do you think the extra season in Split 2 has helped you progress a little bit further, or do you think it wouldn't have made much difference if you were in Split 1 or not this season?
I think the extra season definitely helped. If you look back over the course of the season, we had the least amount of safety cars and the cleanest racing. So this has been the best place to learn everything. I guess going to Split 1, it's gonna. It also they may race a bit differently.
Well, it also helped the trophy cabinet, didn't it? So that was a bonus. Yeah. Doing 2 seasons in a row.
Yeah, definitely. And for the finale here, I have to thank Hoffy and Paul Burns, because I ran into him in practice. Maybe it was on Sunday night or something like that, and I was lost. I was nowhere near the pace. I think I was dropping 52s, and I felt like I was on the edge, but. Hoffy taught me the middle section of the track here, and it made a world of difference. So the sportsmanship was fantastic, and also a shout out to Zippy going over to AJR, be reunited in the same team as Zippy, first time since 2017, I think, and also Mikey Harland. I always check out his stream to make sure he's not saying anything mean about me. No, I do watch his stream. It's very entertaining, funny fella, great guy to talk to.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I'm kind of glad you're actually going to Split 1, Matt, because I don't know if Split 2 could handle the level of man love that's going to be between you and Zippy next season if you're in the same split. So, I think I think it's, but it's also a good opportunity for you to race up there. You've got some great pace. You've had some great racecraft. I don't have enough catalogue of your racing to really say or knuckle down how confident I would be of you staying up in Split 1, because again, I've only got 2 seasons of your racing in my knowledge book. So, but I think
one thing for sure, Hamish. One thing for certain, please don't ever give me any compliments on the broadcast. That curse is real.
I'm going to ask Jay if I can do Split 1 next season just to compliment you. We're going to stumble up on this curse, I tell you. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Well, I mean, mate, it's been incredible, hasn't it, Brett?
Oh, it has. It's been one incredible. I mean, look, this is my first season commentating, And you know, like Hamish and I have both said a number of times on air and off air, that has just been an absolutely fantastic series, you know, and kudos to you, mate. Congratulations on the win. You know, take it and just run with it, you know, and just enjoy it. You know, commiserations to Shane Van der Meulen, unfortunately, but that's racing. It happens, you know, and you've got to relish in the wins, and you've got to learn from the losses. And you know, congratulations, mate. You know, you've got to be pumped. Going to go to split one. You know, there's another learning curve to sort of jump on board there. Mate, I think you're up to the task. You're just gonna bloody beam in there.
Oh, cheers, mate. I hope so. I feel like they might race a lot harder, so it's going to take a bit of an adjustment. But I'm really happy that, you know, this the first championship I've ever been able to win. I guess, so that I can bring it home to old mates as I'm leaving, because they've been great. They've been great people over these last 2 seasons, just chilling out and, you know, having a good laugh. So. And they deserve it as much as I have to bring it home for them. So I'm really happy with that. And, you know, last but not least, I want to say a happy belated birthday to Jim Caperonis. I wasn't sure it was his actual birthday. For some reason, I thought his birthday was later in the year. And then I sort of realised we're already late in the year. So I guess happy birthday, Jim.
Very good, Matt. Well, best of luck in Split 1 next season. Let us know anyone from your team you want to give a shout out to, any of the sponsors, because it'll be the last time you get to, or anyone else you want to give a shout out to as well. For myself, Brett, the rest of the league, congratulations on being the season 23 Split 2 champion of the Racecraft Simulations V8 Veterans.
Cheers. Thanks, guys. Great broadcasts. Always enjoy them. Thanks to Queenie. We've had some good chats, and I've really appreciated being in the team. Everyone else at Old Mates, fantastic group of people. Really enjoyed it, and yeah, looking forward to next season with AJR and seeing where we land. So yeah, thanks, guys. It's been awesome. This was a great championship all round.
No worries, Matt. Best of luck next season. Look forward to seeing how you go and whether or not you'll be coming back to say hello to us in season 25 or not.
Cheers, guys. Take it easy.
Thank you, you too.
Geez, you just got that bloody curse on him, didn't you?
I had to give him one last curse, Brett. I had to give him one last curse in the end of it. I just had to. I had to.
Yeah, wow.
But I mean, that all rounded up for us for season 23. I mean, it's been how quickly 10 weeks goes by, and how quickly we started all over again. The next few weeks are going to go by incredibly quickly before we're back again for season 24. You know, even at this point, 100 broadcasts in for vets, and never surprises me how quickly the break happens. We'll be back racing on the 26th of June 2025. The Split 2 broadcast will return the Saturday thereafter. I believe it's the 28th of June 2025. When you're looking out for it next season. I mentioned last week about the thumbnail and how this season, you know, was a callback not only to my first season with vets of the red, black, and white, but it was also a call to the Chicago Bulls being red and black for 23 for Michael Jordan. And I gave the hint that season 24 was also going to be sports themed. Actually, I completely forgot. I nearly completely forgot. Before we actually talk about that, I nearly completely forgot about the driver of the day. We didn't even get that many votes in, Brett. I'll be honest, we didn't. We got 2. But I am going to take the onus upon myself just to hand it out. If I can find him on the list, there he is. To hand it out to Mr. Scotty Weston of East West Tasmania Racing. The 052 machine, top 10 position, but to hold off the battle pack that he did for so long, an incredible race by Scott, and a well-deserved Driver of the Day award for him. So yeah, massive congratulations to Mr. Weston. Finally got the internet sorted and got himself a Driver of the Day award as well. So it's a massive achievement from him. Yeah, everyone was then beginning to get their votes in as soon as I said it. So, but yeah, no, we'll hand it out to Scotty.
Too late,
in the
boys.
end there.
No, I'm on board with that one. I was actually looking before, and I thought, oh, geez, there's not many, but I was going to say to you,
the majority of the top 10 are people who've already won it this season, and then, you know, I was like, well, he earned that spot, he earned that top 10, so he did a great job.
Yep.
But yeah, I mentioned the next season's thumbnail is going to be sports themed. obviously it's season 24. You put 2 and 2 together. We've got it Lakers themed for Mr. Kobe Bryant next season. So that's the thumbnail to keep an eye out for when looking for the broadcast next season for season 24. We started all out at Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps. At least that's the first drafted round of the season. That may change. But yeah, keep an eye out for it for next season. Myself and Brett back in the booth once again. Going to be a mega season ahead where we'll crown another Split 2 champion. And who knows who it's going to be. And ironically, Brett, I said last week about the fact that 9-5 could have gone back-to-back as a team to win the Split 2 championship. It didn't happen, obviously. But if someone like a Gary Buckland were to get knocked back down to Split 2, nothing's stopping him from making it 2 in a row for Old Mate and Sons. So we'll have to wait and see how that one pans out. But
how many things to unfold?
How many things to unfold? I feel like we are at a packaging place right now.
Yep.
And just unfolding everything.
Boxing up. Yeah, well, we're boxing everything up after this season. So we're boxing everything up, but there's a whole lot of packages to turn up very shortly.
Oh yeah,
for season 24.
And I hope everyone has brought their stamps. I hope they've licked them as well, to try and send their way to a championship in season 24. But for myself, Hamish Munro Brett Fisher alongside, appreciate everybody's time. Appreciate you all being here with us once again. Massive shout out to the series sponsors, including the title sponsors of the V8 Veterans, Racecraft Simulations, have been a long time supporter of the vets now, as well as the Logitech G, Parramatta Isuzu Ute, Player One Sim Gear, Nova Sim Sports, Sudspeak Gloves, LGC Images, and Chubby Buns Burgers for the Driver of the Day award. It went the way tonight of Scott Weston, who finished it out in the top 10. Next time, it could go to you. Be sure to check out the Vets Discord as well. There's new merch available, including clothing, personalised hoodies, all that jazz by way of LGC Images, so check that stuff out as well. From myself, Hamish Munro, and Brett Fisher, appreciate your time, appreciate you being here with us once again. I've just cracked Brett up in the background. Be sure to hit the like button, and subscribe, the bell icon as well if you're watching on the V8 Veterans channel, so you're notified whenever the vets go racing, with the Split 4 action on Friday nights and the Split 3 and Split 2 action on Saturday nights as well. If you're watching over on the Infinity Broadcasting channel, be sure to hit the like, subscribe, bell icon as well, so you're notified whenever we go racing here with the Racecraft Simulations V8 Veterans action of Split 2. Or any of the stuff out of the iRacing World Challenge, whether it's the VRS Virtual Racing School Porsche Cup Series on the Monday nights, or the Rod Knock Cup coming your way on Friday nights as well. Plenty of vets drivers have already signed up for that for both series too, so there will be some familiar names in those fields. But until next time, guys, until season 24, it's been an absolute cracker of a season, to steal Brett's words. We'll see you guys next time. Stay safe, drive hard, and as always, bye for now.
The Racing Series is a new milestone in Logitech G.
All the great old wheels, the G29, the G920, the G923, they all have their own unique way of connecting to each other, but there's no room for expansion with those products.
So the question arose was, what if we were to give the opportunity for the racer to switch out from a drifting wheel to a GT rim?
With the wheel hubs that we've created, that's got a very specific button set, but you can replace any of the steering wheels.
And the real lovely aspect to this was we could give the user, driver and the racer the opportunity to experience different genres of race.
That allows drivers to craft high quality, customized setups that resonate with your individual racing style.
When we start with the design, we always start sketching. Very often, once we've got sketches, we start discussing with engineering.
We had 3 rounds of engineering testing or user testing where we invited in users from sim racing, and every single round of feedback we refine, the product based on what they tell us.
In the sim racing lab, again, we're going to use data to really analyze what a driver needs. We've used everything from eye tracking to the inputs from the pedals, the inputs from the, let's say, input devices, the wheel and the pedals, the shifter. We're taking that and we're compiling it so that we can build different products based on those individuals' needs for all consumers and all drivers.
I don't know of anyone else in the industry that's actually doing this kind of research into their products to see how their products are affecting performance of their users.
We've built the product to make sure that it's as reliable as possible.
So the innovations in engineering that I'd say we're most proud of is the sequential handbrake and shifter toolless changeover. This is now a patented system, so it's really easy for the user to just switch between modes.
If you give people the tools to do what they want, they will.
They will just go off and have fun.
Introducing the Rackraft PT1, custom-built full chassis racing simulator. The design project, codenamed The Cage, an 80/40 extrusion chassis sitting on top of a Sigma Integrale DK2 Plus 4-point full motion actuator system. No compromises in the cockpit of the PT1 simulator. To maximize the experience, we start with the 49-inch ultra-wide monitor for the greatest field of view in a small footprint of the simulator, down to the SimuCube wheelbase that's tucked up and behind the monitors with SimCore extensions to get things out of the driving area. Everything is connected to a Cube Controls GTX steering wheel with the built-in dash and all the extra button functions available at your fingertips. Driving through the Raceworks S1 pedals, the potentiometer throttle and the 2 hydraulic pedals for brake and clutch ensures you maximize the feel underfoot, and seating yourself into an OMP HTER bucket racing seat with OMP belts connected to a G-belt tensioner to provide that extra feeling and the heightened experience while you're driving. Additional interfaces and accessories in the PT1, we have twin butt kickers, one on either side of the OMP seat, as well as a Jinx sequential shifter, the SimPush Race Logic timer to the left-hand side, a Rackraft built-in WinSim kit with Philips Hue lighting and a built-in soundbar, plus the OMP side net to finish off the experience in the PT1. The Rackraft PT1, build number 1, the ultimate in sim racing experience, combining the best products in the market with the passionate, no-compromise approach that goes beyond racing simulation.
Yeah, we worked here. 2 laps left, come on.